This is the video review of Transformers Beast Machines Scout/Basic Class Night Viper, and this guy is really neat. He's not the greatest figure of all time, but he has some neat engineering to him. He's one of the few snakes that Hasbro has ever done, and that makes him very notable, because I think there may be others, but the only one I can think of at the time is Kurata. But this guy, he's kind of interesting, but as a snake, if you try and straighten him out, this is as far as you can get. He's always in a I'm ready to strike pose. So gimmick right there where he does that if you press on his hood. So you can't get him to straighten out. He's not a super posable snake, even though his tail here does have quite a few ball joints. So he is a bit disappointing in that regard, but he's still a very interesting figure. I didn't get him because I was interested in his super awesome snake mode. It's only okay. I got him because he has some very interesting engineering, and that's really my recommendation for this guy. He's good for the engineering concepts in him more than as a toy, because he has some weaknesses. To get started with the transformation, what we will do is we will pop the hood apart like this, turn the arms in like this, and then bring the hood parts up like that. And he gets some kibble on his arms. You can do something neat with the kibble, but basically it is just kibble. Then you will take the head here, you will pop it up, and this will allow you to turn his real head around, or his robot mode head. Then you can pop this down and put it up onto his back. And here is the big trick of this guy, which is to transform him. You press this forward, and then you just start pushing through on his legs until you get to the middle. You snap it into place, fold his legs down, and then you start getting the fold out the heel, and then you get the final robot mode. And he's an okay looking robot mode in spite of his kibble. But that leg transformation, that is just brilliant. I love what they did with those. It's a great way to make all of his leg articulation turn into alt mode articulation, and gives his legs quite a bit of articulation here. Basically, he can move around like a snake. I can eat my own heel. And unfortunately, his arms aren't nearly as good. Basically, just know that ball joint, ball joint, ball joint, hinge, hinge. You can move his legs anywhere. But his arms, ball joint, that's okay. But he has curling iron arms, and he has the weird, it's something that I notice a lot on Transformers, especially on the arms, where the elbow ball joint is tighter than the shoulder ball joint. So it means that you can't move his elbow easily without also moving his elbow, and it makes him kind of hard to play with, and not very fun to play with either. His neck has no articulation because it's held in place by these collarbone bits. Now what you can do with this kibble is kind of interesting. You can bring it around, and it can kind of sit in his hand so it looks like he's holding a club, or in the case of this one, a scythe. Now I wish he had a scythe on both sides, because that would make him look really awesome. Unfortunately, this one just ends up being a club, because he has a, the reason he doesn't have the scythe like he does on this side is because he has a spark crystal in there. So he does have some decent posability. He's not an awful figure. He's just not the best figure of all time. He's more interesting for his engineering than for his quality as a toy. So he's not highly recommended, but if you find him for cheap, he is he does have some balance issues. He's not, come on, stand. He's more interesting for the ideas behind him than for actually being a good figure. That's about it. So anyway, I review Power Rangers, Transformers, Macross figures, lots of stuff like that. If any of that sounds interesting, please subscribe. Be sure to check the video description down below for our Facebook link, and thank you for watching.